Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Tommy Gilmore with Noisy Bar Digital Marketing, and you're watching another episode of Wingin It. If this is your first time, every week I talk to a different business owner and we learn a little bit more about business and how to hopefully feel like we're not just winging it the whole time. My guest today, I'm super excited. We're with Tommy and Harley Cawood, and they are the owners of Blackrock Interiors. So Tommy and Harley, thanks for letting me come by and sit down in your nice showroom here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Tommy.
Yeah. So I know that this is a new space for you guys, but it's exciting. You know, you guys are building a showroom and getting to be where this is a cool business. People can come see your office, things like that. But tell people a little bit about how you got started with the business and what you guys like to do.
Yeah, so we got started in about August of 23, so about 2.5 years. And I think the way that we really got started was we knew that nobody knew about us, and so we just started advertising on just local Facebook pages and stuff like that, showing pictures of the work that we've done previously, and just kind of hoping that people would give us a shot. And that started to work out, and we started to get a lot of bathrooms or just little one-off jobs, and just hope that it continued to snowball, and then we just would go off of referrals from that point forward. And next thing you know, we're 2.5 years into it, and things picked up enough to where it's like, you know what, let's open up a showroom. One of the other things that we tried to get ahead of early was once we found ourselves getting into meeting with the clients, next came the material, and it was like, well, where do we go for material? And I had worked for a big national company back in Arizona, and one of their staples to success was they supplied all their own flooring and carpet and tile and things like that. And I kept those relationships alive and always picked his brain on how to how to do that and how to do things. And so we kind of like started an account with that old employer, and throughout the years he kind of showed me how to do things and how to price things out, and he was just a really great mentor. And then when we told him that we were gonna go out on our own, he decided, hey, you know what, best thing I can do for you now is just give you all my connections, and let's not do this third party thing anymore. And it's been great. It's been a new challenge. There's been a lot of different things that have come with it that we weren't anticipating, but it's interesting to see how things open up, just slowly and kind of like piece by piece, as you try to pursue things.
Definitely. Harley, I want to hear about your role in a sec, but I wanted to follow up real quick, Tommy, with something that you said. You talked about this mentor and how, it really opened some doors. He gave you some advice and ended up basically handing you his Rolodex, it sounds like. Like, what role has that played for you? And if somebody's watching and they're maybe looking for a mentor or feeling a little lost, like, what advice would you give them to find a good mentor in business or somebody that can kind of help and support them in that way?
So that's a great question. I think I got lucky in finding someone who was looking to be a mentor. I had this, I woke up at 2:30 in the morning one night and just had this thought, like, hey, set something up with the owner of this company to do their installs. I was a project manager for him at the time, and I was sending out invoices to everybody. And when I started to see how much money they were getting on the installs, I'm like, I want to put together an install crew. And so I set up a meeting with the owner of the company. This guy was projected to make $100 million this upcoming year, and it was interesting that he even took the time to be like, yeah, let's meet. And 5 minutes into it was really funny, because 5 minutes into it, he goes, clearly you're not into floors. What do you really want to do? I go, no, I do. I want I want to do floors. And he goes, nah, cut your crap. What do you want? And that entire day turned into us just learning about each other and just talking about life. And he was calling people, like, it was just very unique. Long story short, I continued to keep that relationship alive with him. We ended up coming up with a different plan. It didn't work out. We were talking about building homes. I think the market just got a little too wild. Though he's a national company, he's not here in Utah. So it's interesting, whenever he would get some interest from clients in the Utah area, he would always call me and be like, do you want to do the install on it? You know, how much for you to run up to Salt Lake and do X, Y, or Z? And we actually, I don't ever think ended up landing on any jobs, but here in Utah. But what I thought was cool was we kept that relationship open for a long time. He always thought of me. I always thought of him. And I know that with this guy, I could call him for anything. I brought up the fact that he's, you know, his business was projected to make $100 million that year. People like him are unique to find. You know, I feel like I was very blessed in having a guy that took an interest in what I wanted to accomplish. And especially when I'm like, I had no business being on his radar at all, to be honest with you. He's got much bigger fish to fry from the East Coast to the West Coast. And, you know, he taught me above anything and everything. I had one other earlier mentor tell me something corny, but it was true. He goes, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And I thought, yeah, there's some serious truth in that. And Joe with Haven Construction down in Arizona, that was the guy that he taught me that. And what he showed from that example was, you know, he's a custom builder. He's getting into these projects for 1.5 to 2 years with these guys. He's inviting them over to his house all the time. He's going to their kids' events and he's inviting them to their kids' events. I always thought that he was a really good example of that. But with Mark over there at RMI, he did a really great job of always returning calls. You know, he didn't withhold any knowledge. He would say, you know, from my experience with these things, this has worked out for me, this didn't. If I was in your shoes now going forward, I would maybe try it this way. And he's just been a fountain of knowledge, and it's been great to be able to pick his brain. And he hasn't steered us wrong in any direction or any time that we've needed him. And so, you know, you can't put a price on that. And so I think if you think your boss is making $100 million a year, he seems like he's not interested in you, you never know. Just ask him. Just be like, I'm interested in doing something like this. How do you do it? And they know how tough it is. You know, it's worth it if you stick it out. It's hard to do. He probably knows I'm not going to actually be competing with him. I'm just trying to be successful in the St. George market. But to have anybody that's willing to give any advice, just ask them. And you never know. You never know what relationship can form from that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? And so whether that's looking for a mentor, whether it's, hey, I want to work with this business, I've done some research, like you just don't know what's going to come from reaching out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. So Harley, you're the second half, maybe the better half of the business.
Say. I'm definitely something with the business.
So what does that something entail? What does your day-to-day look like, and how do you kind of help support and build, because you guys are full-time in this together?
Yes, we weren't before. I used to do like photography, wedding photography, and I really focused on that last year. And then I got crazy busy, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is a lot. Like, we were traveling a lot. There was a lot of stuff going on. And I just had this really strong impression, like, okay, use your skills for social media and like marketing and like making fun videos and like TikTok and stuff like that to really like focus on Blackrock Interiors and like how can we grow our account and stuff like that. And so I stopped taking on clients for my business personally, and I like really just geared towards this business, Blackrock Interiors. And it's been fun because I think we started at like 60 people on Instagram. And like half of that was just like all of our family's different business accounts. And not saying that we've grown by like hundreds of thousands by any means since I took over, but we're over 100 followers now and like triple digits. So that's pretty awesome. And so I just really like focus on social media, and I go out to job sites and I take little snippets of videos and like kind of show what's going on and like the process of things. I try to talk to clients as much as possible too. And with social media comes like you're on social media a lot. So I do a lot of like our Facebook posts for like, hey, it's Monday, St. George Word of Mouth, like let's post and like talk about our business and things like that. And I try to generate the leads as much as I possibly can, because he doesn't like being on social media very often. And like if one of us is just focusing on that and like generating that, and then he could be running around like doing, because we offer free estimates, and like I try to go on those now just because we are doing this like 100% together. And so that way I can kind of see like how it looks, and they're meeting both of us. So like if he can't go out because he's got to go do damage control somewhere, if something were to happen, I can go out and be like, okay, like you remember me, like we can talk about what's going on, what you're looking for. And then it kind of turned into like, okay, we're gonna pull the trigger on this showroom. And we looked at some places for a while and just nothing seemed right. And then we saw this one, and I was like, there was already people like waiting for us to leave to come and view it. And I'm like, we got to tell them, like, just send them whatever they need for a deposit. Like, we need that place. And I don't know, it's just been magical and chaotic and crazy ever since. But like, I know that this was brought to us, and like we saw it at the right time. And like we had an amazing rep come in and help us like fill it, and like, you know, and we did a lot of research before opening it. Like our sales would go up dramatically if you could bring your clients here instead of like, hey, go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. And then you potentially lose that client and like that money that you could be making on the product too, because they went somewhere else. And we've already had a few people come in here. It's not perfect yet, but we had what they were looking for, and it's like, okay, that feels good. Like we know what we're doing is right, and like we should be doing it. So I just kind of reel people in and take photos and videos and like do like the friendly face on social media, and you know, make us known like that. So.
No, and I that's how I found you guys. And I really like something that you do a lot is you talk about the different designs. Is that something that you kind of help with as well along the way? Like
the product of the day?
Like the product of the day, or even like as Tommy goes into bid an estimate, are you helping with the design side as well, or is that just him?
Sometimes, usually when people are like, hey, I want this fireplace or I want my kitchen redone, they have a vision in mind. And what's fun with that is like, I love Pinteresting and I love looking at stuff like that. So like woman to woman, it's like, oh, you want that like cottage, like vintage cottage look. Like someone came in here the other day and they're like, I really want that stone with like the overgrouted, you know, look on the outside of their house. And I was like, vintage cottage, like that's exactly what we're doing, you know? And so it's fun, like being able to know what they're talking about, but also like give input, like, oh, I think you should do this color and maybe like that with this and add some shiplap or whatever it might be to like create more of like a cozy space. And another thing for us too is we have a lot of children. We have 4 kids, and so like we know that a home is like your sanctuary.
Yeah.
And like you want it to look good and feel good because you're going to be in it all the time, but also like you want it to be functional. And so it's like you can't have all this like fancy schmancy stuff, I guess, you know, and like a lot of product is more geared towards like you can clean this better, and this probably you shouldn't have right now when you have kids smearing peanut butter all over the floor or whatever. So it's fun being able to like tell them that, because we're living it right now currently too. Like we have kids ranging from 2.5 to 8, so it's like we're in the thick of it. And being able to design a home with that in mind, because a lot of people around us have children, that's fun too. It's a fun aspect of it. So yeah. You want to add?
Yeah, I would say in regards to, because that is true, we do have people that know for sure exactly what they want, from their flooring to cabinets, carpet, paint color. They take the guesswork out of everything. And that's great, and you know, it's awesome when you have a client that's totally organized like that. Most times though, we go into homes where people don't really know where to start, and they're looking for, they're like, well, what would you recommend? And we were able to have a lot of success off of pictures from past projects. But we wanted to get past that point. We wanted to, you know, let's say one of our trade partners wants to, you know, they refer us, they give out our business card, and they go, hey, will you come over and take a look at this kitchen or this fireplace? They go, what stone did you use here? We can now bring multiple samples over to their house. A lot of the times we find that they are in the middle of a full home remodel. And we've, you know, and they've just reached out to one trade partner. And, you know, let's say we go in there and it's like, oh, we can get this carpet for a better price. We can get this engineered hardwood for a better price. A lot of the time, they just didn't know that we existed. They didn't know that we offered it. We were going in for typically one thing or the other. But truth be told, we offer all the material and the install of it as well. And we found that when we are able to go into those situations, we're able to take over the role of project manager from the homeowner, where the homeowner is curious on, hey, what are we supposed to do next? What's the best? You know, like they don't really know what they're looking for. We can come in and we can take care of each thing. We can usually beat the price. We can take the stress off the homeowner. So not only are we able to you know, supply a place where you can visualize everything from the stone that goes on your fireplace to the custom woodworking of the cabinets or whatever, we'll take care of the headaches and everything else as well, not just the design.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like you guys are basically saying if somebody contacts you, they come to you with a vision or an idea and that's it, and then you guys can kind of do the rest of the heavy lifting. And it's nice because you have this space that, you know, it's filling up quickly with different samples and ideas that people can say, oh, this might be nice, or they can really start to price things out. And then, like you said, you have these relationships and you're able to get them at a different price from what they'd be able to find elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right.
That's awesome. Well, obviously business isn't without its, you know, challenges and getting things off the ground. You guys are taking some big steps. As far as the last, you know, 2.5, almost 3 years now, what's been the biggest challenge for you guys in getting a business off the ground and, you know, working together as a couple, things like that?
I would say for me, I do think, like any business, there's slow months. Mm-hmm. Construction is, gosh, I mean, there's so many things that can cause headaches in the construction realm, and what we like to do is pride ourselves on minimalizing that. I think our trade partners, I think we're tried and true as far as who it is that we work with on the job. So who we have coming into your home, we have had relationships with them for over 3 years. And so we know their quality of work. We have our relationships intact with them. They've worked on parade homes. We've worked on parade homes. So our quality is going to be great. Our communication is going to be great. And I think that that's something that has, and I think a lot of people in construction, that's your Achilles heel, is when you are trying to find the right trade partners, trying to make those relationships work and last. I really feel like we have a group of guys and ladies that have done a great job for us. We would refer them to anybody, anytime, and we're very confident sending them out to any job.
Yeah. So the challenge then are the slow months, and what you guys have found is just having that network of strong trade relationships, because like you said, maybe even if it doesn't come in as a full remodel, if a trade partner says, hey, this person needs a fireplace or whatever, can you go and be the installer? It's like, hey, that's another job we just got, right? And maybe another opportunity comes up because I'm in their home or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll add to that, just because we both had businesses going that were pretty busy, and I would feel right saying successful, like me doing photography and him doing just solely this. When we weren't working together to like boost each other's businesses, I felt like we were lacking in both areas. Like I needed him for some strength in photography, and he needed me for strength in marketing or whatever. And so if you are my advice for that is, if you are a husband and wife and you can work together, I think this company has gotten so much stronger in the last 4 months that I decided to lay off my business and work on this full time, because now you have two heads that are going into it, and you have two 100% efforts going into it, and it's like we're a team, and in our marriage we're a team, as parents we're a team, and so we've always just had that dynamic. Even when we were dating, it was like, oh, it's Tommy and Harley, here they come, and even in church we're like that, everywhere we go. And so it was kind of stupid that it took me so long to be okay, I'm gonna not be working on myself and my business, let's work on our business, let's make it our thing and see where it goes. And just within a couple of months, we got this place, and it just shows that working together as a team is so much stronger in the ability to run a business and grow.
Yeah.
So if you're a husband and wife duo, I highly suggest you guys 100% go all in on one business together.
Do you have any other advice? As far as, do you guys have any boundaries or ground rules that you've found that have kind of helped you guys? Because my wife helps me with some things in my office or in my work as well, and it's great to have that support. And for us, we have some rules that it's hey, this is what we do that works. Do you guys have things that you've tried that you're hey, this is what works for us?
Boundaries.
Do you want me to? I'll add, yeah, since I have something. I think for us, we are, not to bring religion into it, but we're very prayerful about what we do and what the right choice is. And if we feel oh, I really want a showroom, but it's not that one, or it's not the time right now, then it's okay, then we're gonna wait. And then that's what we did. And then boom, this showed up, pricing was right, it was available right away, and just everything flowed perfectly. And I'm there's no way that wasn't supposed to happen, you know? And so we really do. We bring that aspect into it, and we're firm believers that Heavenly Father has a plan for us and is watching us and our business. And I think that He blesses it if we really, really try to hear what He has to say. Do you have anything to add?
I think it's something that we're just now trying to figure out, because we could we could be doing 16-hour days if we wanted to. It's a nonstop process of trying to grow your business, and we have to make time for we have to make family time. We have to, we have the 4 kids that we got to take care of. So we've learned that there's no perfect recipe for trying to balance out this life, but for us, I think that we've tried to find the things that Harley loves most about the business and the things that I love most about the business, and I try to stay in that lane, and she tries to stay in the things that she loves. But it's not always that black and white. Sometimes things happen to where we have to intertwine and do and maybe do some of those things that we would probably, hey, Harley, do this, or I'll just stick to these things. But I think finding balance in what she loves to do and what I love to do in regards to the business makes it more enjoyable, and then less burnout time, and then you can when it's time for family time, try to be present and focus on the reason really why we do all this. It's for the freedom of our to be able to spend more time with our kids. It's not supposed to go the other way where it ends up consuming every thought and hour of the day.
Yeah, but it does sometimes.
But it does. And if it does, you're not a failure. Yeah, I mean, if that's what happens, that does happen sometimes.
Yeah. So if you're watching and you're trying to strike that balance, whether you work with your spouse or not, just know, like, there's never a perfect balance. It is tough to find it, but definitely, like, I think having my wife, I'm glad that, because she does my accounting. She has an accounting degree.
Yeah.
And so
nice.
It's so nice because it's like, I'm terrible with numbers. I'm decent with money, but I'm terrible with numbers.
Yeah.
And so it's so nice, and I don't like monotonous tasks. I'm kind of ADD, and so she can sit down, and for her it's like, hey, take our 3-year-old away for an hour, and I'll like get the books caught up, and like she can listen to music. She can just like kind of zone in on something, and it's been really good for her.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, you just find those things that work within your business if you work with your spouse, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll direct it at both of you, but probably primarily Harley, where you're mostly in charge of the marketing. But for you guys, is there anything that you've done with your business that maybe has helped with your marketing, or something that you've tried that you're like, well, that was a money sink or a time sink, or like just it didn't work out like you thought it would?
I don't know. I'm not like, I wouldn't say that I'm like the best at marketing by any means. I just like to do it for fun. And so I was like, oh, I can do that. I had to do it for my own business. Why not do it for his as well? I think the thing that works and really gets you out there is like being consistent and like having those peak time posts where people are like waking up and they're scrolling their phone, and it's like, oh, what is Blackrock Interiors doing today? And like having really involved posts. Like, I love doing time lapses of things. Like, I have an extra phone and a tripod that I'll drive all the way out to Little Valley and post it up for the entire day just to watch them pour concrete and frame out a job, Yeah. And then you stitch it all together, and like those are the things that really get all the views, because who doesn't love watching something come together? And then it's like, I want to do that. I want to build out something extra on my house. So it generates like those thoughts, and then all of a sudden we have, hey, I found you on Instagram. Can you like message me about how much it would be to add on a porch or a patio or whatever? And it's like, okay, so that does work,
Yeah.
And like just putting out the products out there, like we need to know what we're selling and what is a good product, and like we don't want to sell something that's not going to last or be durable or look good. And so I think just having, like, I try to post twice a day. So something that we've done and then something that we sell.
Okay.
And since I've been doing that, like, I mean, we've grown into the triple digits as far as followers. So I feel like something is happening, you know, like we're getting out there.
Yeah.
And then obviously on Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays, I can post to different Facebook groups. And so doing that consistently too. But also ChatGPT is like the real hero here, because I'll put in like a prompt and be like, okay, I want like a funny story about like a remodeling project gone bad and how Blackrock Interiors saved it, you know, like something like that. And so like it's eye-catching on those sites, and people are like, oh my gosh, did that really happen? And I'm like, yeah, you know. But it's like something that's eye-catching that people want to see. And then we also attach like our Instagram to that and our website and work projects that we've done and completed that look really great. And so it's like just being relevant and like constantly posting. That's like the hard part. But I know a lot of like TikTok, Instagram, and I think Facebook does it too, where you can like plan out your post for the week, and then like it just does it automatically at certain times. So I need to be better about that, because sometimes at the end of the day I'm like, I didn't post today, and I have to like and those don't get as many likes and like views because they're just kind of thrown out there. So I think planning and like being consistent definitely works. And I don't really have anything that doesn't work, because I don't know.
You haven't tried something that hasn't panned out yet?
Nothing like crazy has happened to where I'm like, wow, we're never doing that again, or like, you know.
Well, and something that you said that's really interesting is, you know, you said, oh, we're at a, you know, over 100 followers, we're in that 3 figures now, and like you're getting leads from it. And so I think when you're looking at social media from a small business standpoint, you're like, oh, like I have to have 5,000 followers before any money is going to come in. And I think we kind of tell these stories to ourselves because it's like we're demotivated, right?
Well, when you see like tons of followers and likes, you think, wow, they're successful. But that's not always the case, because I mean, like even on my like personal page and like my photography page, I only had a couple hundred, and it wasn't like I was super rich and successful like that. I had a good amount of clients, like I was steady, and like to me that's rich, because people are constantly choosing me. But like on our TikTok account, he has over 13,000 followers, but that was because we did other stuff on TikTok, like just funny videos, and then we're like, why don't we make this our business account, since we already have all those, you know. And so we use TikTok a lot, and then try to put that on Instagram. And it's just like this whole circle of like social media stuff that you have to do. But TikTok, we look like we're doing like crazy numbers. And then on Instagram, which is reality, it's like, we're at 110, you know? But that's all right. 110 people want to follow us. They want to work with us. Or they have worked with us, you know? So it's...
Well, and you're getting business coming in the door from it, it sounds like. People are messaging you or asking you questions. Like those are people that, you know, are interested in spending money on your business. So that's absolutely a win. So whether you have, you know, if you're watching and you're like, man, is social media worth it? I'm starting, you know, I have 30 followers or whatever. You don't have to feel like, oh, I have to have 5,000 followers or whatever that those things are that we tell ourselves that say, oh, you know, it's not worth it right now because I'm not going to get business from it. It's just that consistent effort. It's adding the value. And you start to get things coming.
Well, and think about it. When you open up a new account, whether it's social media, a bank, or whatever, you're at zero, right? So no matter what it is, like you have to grow, and you have to put in that time and effort to like, okay, now I have 2 followers. Now I have, whether it's your family and your friends, it doesn't matter, you know, like you're still growing in some way. And that's fun to watch too, because it's like, okay, people are seeing me, I'm getting myself out there, but we all start at 0. So don't let those big numbers fool you.
All right, so last question for you guys. This has been super great, by the way. I really appreciate, like, you guys have given thoughtful responses. If you're watching, I really hope that you got something from it. I know that I've learned a little bit from you guys, but the last question I like to ask is just about like the best piece of business advice. Tommy, you had a couple mentors. I know in most entrepreneurship, you get involved in like the kind of personal development books and things like that. What's been the biggest like help for you guys in business that you read it or saw it or talked to somebody, you took that advice, you implemented it? Like, What was that advice, and what did it do for you in business?
So this is something that I'm still in the middle of trying to do. I really love the advice. So for us in construction, this is just kind of how we would have it structured, but it's applicable across anything. So we want to narrow it down to our whys, or our not our whys, but our what's called buckets. So you're going to have 3 buckets. For us, we're going to have new builds, we're going to have remodels, and then we're going to have supply, so material. And what we're going to do is we're going to have those 3 buckets. And what we're going to do is we're going to have 5 actions under each one of those buckets. So no matter what realm of work you're in, you come up with your 3 goals, your 3 sources of income, and then you have 5 action goals that you want to do to follow up on those. So it could be anything. It's up to you, but you write them down and you review it and you adjust it as you go. And I think one, it's nice because if you're a visual learner, you're holding yourself accountable. You're looking at you're looking at a path to go down on how you want to accomplish these 3 things. And you'll see them work. It does work. It does manifest. And another thing that I think, in regards to like how you're talking about growing social media accounts, grow your real relationships. Social media is super important for likes and views and to like get what you do out there. And there's some really trendy ways that you can do that. But what has benefited our business the most is who we know, and just really, really trying to treat those relationships like any other relationship that we want to last. If you have a trade partner that's constantly referring you, and the only thanks you're giving them is like, hey, thanks for the referral, it's not going to last because another you can come by at any point. So we have a trade partner that we work with really closely. This was my wife's idea. She's like, how have you said thank you to them? I'm like, I figured since we make money on all the jobs, that's enough thank you. And she was like, no, you're not gonna, that's not gonna work. So I got in trouble and I had to I called our trade partners and I was like, what do you guys like to do outside of work? And he perked up. He's like, we like to ride dirt bikes, we go golfing. We bought him 18 holes at the ledges. And it meant everything to him. And then their demeanor changed. Referrals ramped up. I don't know. It's just interesting because those things matter a ton. And so none of us, we're all in this in business because we want to make money and we want the freedom to do certain things. But in order to, I think, get further than you could ever imagine, treat the people around you like a relationship you really want to last. They'll feel that. You'll feel that. It will show up on job sites. It will show up in, with your subcontractors or whoever it is you work with. It's palpable and it's real, and it changes things for the better.
That's really well said. I love that idea. You hear a lot about building these referral partnerships, but I've never thought of it as like, oh, but I become replaceable in that. Mm-hmm. So what do I do to stand out and like be a good referral partner? Whether that's, hey, can we, reciprocate? Can I give referrals to them? For you, not really. There's not really that many ways for you to do that. But for you, it's, hey, like I want to say thank you. I want to, send you to a nice golf course and let you enjoy some free time.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah. Harley, anything that you've learned in business? I mean, you've not, it doesn't have to be from this business. It can be from your photography or anything else that you've done as well.
Well, from photography and even this, like, you're going to have slow months, hard months, times where you're like, why on earth did I decide to give up a 9 to 5 when I know, like, I could be making X amount of money at that job and working 40 hours a week. And here it's like, I'm really fighting and like trying to find a new client or whatever, just because sometimes times are slow. But you know what? It is so much more rewarding building something together, and like even for yourself, whether you're not sharing it with somebody or whatever, but like building a business that, like, even if you have one client or a million clients, like, you're still finding success somewhere because someone purchased something from you, or someone is using your service, or somebody, whatever it is you're doing. But my biggest thing was like, I always thought like, I'm gonna give up because like it's a slow month, or like that wedding was really hard, or there's so many things to do on the back end of stuff that like I just don't have time or energy to be doing that. And then there's those moments where you're like, wow, this is so worth it. Like, we got to take a family vacation, or, you know, like we got to do something for ourselves because we worked really, really hard. And it's those moments where you get to push through those hard times and you're like, this is worth it. So my advice is to not give up, because anything worth having is not easy. Mm-hmm. And it's 100% worth doing. And if you can find a good partner to do it with, whether it's a spouse, a friend, a family member, whatever, I think it's totally worth doing, and to just not give up on it and push through the days that you're like, this is not fun.
Definitely. Yeah. We were talking before this. I think every business goes through those slow seasons, those slow months, and you're really like, man, is somebody going to come and if somebody came and offered me a job, would I take it?
Right. Yeah. You're like, hold on, I can work at Maverick for how much? Or,
yeah.
or the distribution center right there. What is that, Walmart? I saw their sign, $21 an hour. I'm like, sometimes that sounds great.
And I only have to work 40 hours? That sounds terrific.
What's the trade-off here?
Well, guys, I really appreciate your time. This has been awesome. You're active on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What are your guys' handles on there? And I'll put them in the description as well.
Oh my gosh, what are they? I think it's just Blackrock Interiors, like just at Blackrock Interiors. So
okay.
I'll have to text those to you if that's not right. There might be an underscore in there. I'm like, oh, I can't remember.
Well, we'll put some links in the description for you guys. Okay. That way they can check you guys out, really see what you're working on, and hopefully grow that beyond 110.
You know, let's get past the triple digits.
That'd be awesome. And the website is blackrockinteriors.net. .net.
Yes.
Okay, so go check out their work, guys. They really do some really awesome stuff, and they stay really active on social media, so check them out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This has been another episode of Wingin' It. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the next one.